My name is Larry Wayne. Our story today sounds like a fairy tale and began once upon a time with this tiny craft. Do you believe 50 years ago, when there was no GPS, it was flown around the world by a young lawyer who just got his pilot certificate? The tour, promoting the Olympics in 1972, attracted prestigious sponsors in the beer and watchmaking industry, who expected this one-man show across 5 continents to succeed. Against all odds, it did. After 4.5 months in the skies, the blonde beatnik touched down at home base from the other side of the globe.
Everyone warned me to fly, not in this airplane and not solo. Now I know why. It'll remain one of these mysteries how to survive in a zero-chance environment, not just once, but again and again.
In the heart of the Pacific lies an island, 1 by 3 miles, a speck in the grand ocean, fascinating mind and spirits of our adventurer. Contrary to its size, it has a unique, marvelous history. At the bottom of this little bay rests the remains of HMS Bounty, associated with the most famous mutiny in seafaring.
There is in fact no landing strip on Pitcairn. We are here in one of the remotest, loneliest areas on Earth.
In a flight of fancy, Henning Huffer took off in a single-engine airplane, circumnavigating the world to unveil the mysteries of the Bounty Saga. Share Henning's Pacific adventure along the remote, enchanted archipelagos of the Pacific and discover the astounding facts in the abundance of mysteries associated with the Bounty Saga, the mutineers, and their descendants. After 3 more circumnavigations, Henning began ferrying airplanes all over the globe. When he commuted to designated airports, security personnel didn't always handle his survival gear properly.
What's my life ref?
This time, a Piper Arrow in Vero Beach, Florida, to be flown across the pond to Europe. At the first stop, New York, Henning picked up a spare life raft from his pilot buddy Lisa, who was about to leave in the same direction, with a bigger and faster airplane though.
Keep you in my mind, Henning. I'm on my way.
The first fun part of this mission was soon followed by deteriorating weather with icing conditions, requiring either an emergency climb or descent.
Calling on 2115.
Assistance came from nearby flying airliners, showing the right direction out of the danger zone, just in time. It brought, however, only a short relief. Labrador expected our pilot with marginal weather conditions and a challenging radar precision approach.
0905.
Correcting nicely.
Below the glide path correcting, standby normal descent.
On the glide path.
Range 1 1/2 miles from touchdown. Turn left heading 0880 as you drift slightly left at the on course. You're going below the glide path. Adjust the rate of descent. Approaching the end.
The first leg across the Atlantic did not end at its destination. Severe winds and gusts prevented a landing in Narsarsuaq, forcing Henning to navigate by compass over the giant ice cap. An immaculate 10,000-foot high plain stretching into eternity. During sudden whiteouts, pilots and airplanes occasionally disappear without a trace. After takeoff from this gravel airstrip on the other side of Greenland, 2 more refueling stops in Reykjavik and Scotland let the gloom of anguish fade and tuned our ferry pilot again ready for the next mission. The longest flight of this pilot career, from Samoa to Hawaii, with almost 24 hours, was subject to an interview at the Honolulu airport.
You've flown now, I would say roughly about 20,000 miles on the circumnavigation. No fright at any time?
Around midnight on this 21-hour leg to Honolulu, I suddenly was alarmed by a light straight forward, continuously getting bigger. I transmitted on the emergency frequency, then turned the airplane to the right to avoid a midair when I noticed that it was the moon just showing up behind the horizon.
Well, the sloppy comment backfired in Greenland during a winter crossing when Henning got trapped in this fjord after nightfall with heavy snow and iced windshields. An emergency landing on the frozen sea close to an Inuit settlement saved him from crashing into these mountains, and he was spotted immediately without search and rescue, but just a bruise as a lasting memory. Increasing flight hours and experience brought an assignment as a freelance airline pilot. For 5 years, Henning had to coordinate the pattern of his law firm with a crew schedule and cockpit duties. An open item remaining was helicopter flying.
Idle. Light up.
Ferries to and from Spokane enabled him to obtain the certificate. And not before long, he ended up in a new mission.
Jet Ranger 25 Whiskey, President of the United States.
25 Whiskey, Roger, go ahead.
Killed Osama bin Laden.
Can't I take him to Guantanamo, Mr. President? I mean, for a fair trial.
Yes, we can.
Five Whiskey, radar contact lost.
I need information about target.
My name's Ed Snowden, and I can target anyone.
That's what I'm looking for.
I'd get you privileged access.
2 miles to target. Edward, we owe you one.
Hey, let's finally get to the present-day significance of this 50 years chronicle.
Fellow citizens of the world,
we were witnessing
a global mass hysteria unparalleled in history.
Politicians were competing
who imposes the harshest restrictions to their people. Lockdowns disable basic human rights. Important branches
were entirely shut off.
Nobody considered. Since the beginning of the world, natural selection was ruled by the survival of the fittest.